Okay, let's see. Are we live? I think so. Test. Do we see the chats on the screen? Let's see. I hope so. I'm doing the same test again. Hello, Alexander. I'm doing the same test again where I'm streaming both vertically for the shorts feed and normally. What is a little weird is that I cannot see. I can't see the. Let's see if you can see my face here. Hello, hello, hello. But this live streaming on YouTube is okay. Here it goes. Okay, now the chat shows up here. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, what's the next update you think? Well, right now I'm working on Mortars and Shell because, as you know, Mortars and Shell are part of the old game via mods, or not the old game, but the current version, the single player version, you could say. And that mod is not. It's not possible to make it work in multiplayer as it is right now, and also I want to have shells and mortars as part of the actual game, so I'm working on implementing that in the native game built-in, so both I can do something that is part of the game and then modders can create. Basically they can create shells and mortars, and then they can take the current shells that they created for Panini's mod and then recreate them or modify them to fit the new version. Okay. Okay, let's see. The stream things comes up here. Okay, I can see there's two currently watching on the shorts feed thing. So if you guys are looking here, please type something in the chat so I can see that it actually works. That chat will not show up on the screen. And for you guys looking at the normal horizontal stream thingy, you should see some chat in the up in this corner up there. Okay, and I can see there is some. Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, hello. Should I say hello? Hello. So I think we have Mr. J is a Danish guy too. Are shells going to be easier to make? Anthony, easier than what? Easier than the modded version, or what? Yeah, I thought so, Mr. J. But but I had one approach on how to implement it. I looked a little at Panini has been so nice to share his script and his models and stuff like that for me to look into and be inspired by. And I have looked a little into it, and I'm also, as you will see in a moment, I'm using his one of his mortar models and one of his shells models just to have some placeholders for now while I'm doing this. But I also decided to put his script away and not look too much into it, because I have to do things a lot different due to the multiplayer thing. So therefore, not to confuse myself and try and force some of his logic into the multiplayer version, I decided to put it away and then try to come up with my own solution. And last live stream, we can see here what I made last time, or the current status, because at the end of the live stream last time, Amnesty actually came with some ideas of how to maybe do it in another and actually maybe even simpler way. So that's what I want to attempt today, because the current version is not working. It is working, but it's not working. So let's see here. Hello, yet another T.O. another Danish guy. Anthony is saying, in general, to make the shells, I thought there was a lot more things to make the shells work. Of course, in the modded version, in the current shells that are done via mods, I actually haven't tried that myself, to be honest, to make a shell. It might be a little more complicated because it depends on some other base mod and stuff like that. And of course, because Panini cannot get around that, but I can when I do it internally in the game, natively in the game. So there, to some extent, I think I can make it a bit easier than Panini could. Simply because he's limited by, you know, by being only being able to do what he can do via mods. So he's going to steal from Panini's script. No, I said exactly the opposite. Get it? Okay, so this is so just the category is not set up, so there is no tube, so it's just on the specials, and I only have these two. I will change that in a moment to just use the question mark. Gonako last time suggested just using the question mark instead of these weird icons. But anyway, this is a mortar, this is a shell, just placeholders, not important. Again, you can see here, this is Panini's script, or Panini's model. And then we have a shell. And you cannot turn on this one because there is nothing inside it. You can turn this one on if you can hit it, and it should do like kind of a little puff, and then explode. Boom. Then you can either do it directly into, or you can spawn it here and you can put it into the tube, and it should of course play some kind of whoop sound. It doesn't do that right now, but now that I put something in it, I can ignite this one, and then it does kind of a small bleh and shoot. So it works, but it doesn't work. You are goated. See you goated. Please, what's that slang for? I'm an old boomer kind of guy. I'm 40 years old, so I'm not goated. What does that mean? Is it a good or bad thing? Okay. So this is what we have now, and the way this is done is maybe I should. I don't know if I need to do that, but again, you know, the cool kids on YouTube, they draw. So let me also draw something. That's apparently very modern, and yeah, that's what the cool guys do. I'm of course joking here. So how do I actually do this? Can I delete that? Yep, okay. I'm gonna do this. So how should I explain this? So right now we have a shell, and that contains of course the model itself, and then it have it basically have an explosion, what should we call it? Effect. EFX, is that a short for effect? And I can't even. Anyway, it contains kind of the model, and it contains an effect, and it contains also a fuse. Then there is the mortar, which contains basically Right now it contains its own fuse to kind of fake it once this one goes into that one. It uses this fuse instead of this fuse, and I think this is basically how it's made right now. Yeah, and it also have something like a position. It have kind of a collider here, so when this one gets into this one, this collider triggers so the mortar can take in the shell into the mortar. And also it have a position from where it should spawn the shell again once it blows up. So when this one is ignited and it explodes, it spawns the shell here and then it shoots up. But I think we can do it in a better way, because Amnesty suggested something. So what if we have a shell that I cannot draw? Oh my god. What if a shell have kind of an two prefabs basically? Yeah, I have to think a little about that. But basically, it have an effect for basically launching, and it have an effect could be a prefab. Oh my god, it's so bad at drawing it. For exploding. That's a cloud, an explosion. So they have these two effects, and of course also have a fuse. Yeah. So when this, because a shell can be, can go off in two ways. It can go off by itself, because that's not supposed to be used like that, but people do that because it's possible in real life and people have fun doing that. Yeah, Amnesty, I'm drawing here because, that's what the cool kids are doing online. So I'm trying to do it. But it is actually pretty good, because when I'm rewatching some of my live streams, I see myself sitting here explaining stuff with my hands. And I think it's actually easier to communicate by drawing it here. So I don't know why I didn't think about that. Hello, Sobia Hashmat on the Shorts stream. It didn't fly that high. No, exactly, Relay. It didn't fly that high, but that's because right now it only have one force going up, which was the force for the ground, and it needs to go higher up, of course, when it's in a tube. Anyway, so technically, what I'm going to try now is to have a. This is actually not even. This is actually, I'm actually lying here, because this is not how I want it to be. Okay, let me try and explain it another way. Also for my, because, okay, so if you're a model, you know that everything have a kind of an entity definition, right? Which is pretty normally have a prefab for the the actual fireworks, and then they have some other informations like name and some other stuff. But that prefab is basically the rocket or the cake or whatever it's spawning. So I was thinking, what if we have this shell prefab, this shell entity definition that have a prefab, which is basically the shell model, quote unquote. Oh my god, I'm so bad at writing. I'm bad at writing. My handwriting is bad anyway, and doing it with a mouse is even worse. So let's say it have a prefab of the model. So that would be kind of a prefab with the model and some rigid body and collider. So you can actually have that shell in the game. Then maybe, and this is what we need to try today. What if there was a prefab here? Oh. A prefab that was the explosion effect. So this prefab is the explosion effect itself. And then there is the, and this is where it gets a little weird because it also have to make sense. And then there's a prefab which is the, whoops, launch effect. Which would be a particle system. Like this is kind of what we talked about last time, honestly. So, when, can I zoom out here? Okay, I can, whoops. Whoop. Okay. Okay. So if the shell, say, okay, Jesus Christ. So this is the shell definition. So, and this prefab also have a reference to that definition. So when we, can we, can I zoom out? So when we have in the game, when we have the shell here, and we put it into the tube, it hits this little collider thing. Then the mortar script can say, okay, this prefab here have a reference to this entity definition, so that now that this one is put into the mortar can then despawn this one. We don't need that anymore. It can delete this one, and then it can save a reference to this entity definition. Because then when you ignite the mortar, the mortar can then look into this definition, spawn the launch or explosion effect, depending on, we'll figure that one out, but basically spawn one of the effects right here at the spawn position, and then trigger that one, so it will shoot up and explode. We really don't need this model here, because oftentimes, as you also see with the preloaded tubes, it's basically just a fireball going up. You don't actually have to see that physical shell. Sub Air Hazmat said, do you play Roblox? No. Bro, can you draw a car? No. And Matrix is on the short stream, live stream too. Matrix, I'm also streaming on normal, format if you want. Anyway. So, I don't know if any of this made sense at all. I'm not 100% sure it's possible, but this is what I'm gonna try and do. And it's, of course, doesn't really make sense to a lot of you right now. But let's see here. So, and then we are back to the multiplayer problem again, because I will need to have some network variable to say this one is now triggered, and then on the clients it needs to spawn this effect that flies up and explode. Okay, let's try something. So let's stay here. Okay, so the shell behavior. You can see I've done a little note here to myself after at the end of after the live stream last time. Launch and explode prefab, and then an explode prefab, and then launch and explode prefab basically just have, yeah. So let's make that first. Let's just grab just to have something to work from, so we don't have to spend time building that. Let's take a preloaded tube here. Let's take what is the so these are all, oh, come on. Come on. Let's just take the, which one is simple? Let's take the Mr. Beats one. Let's just take this one. So, let's see. I don't know, Amnesty, if you're still here, but did it make sense, that drawing? It didn't make sense. It also actually, well, I'm doing the live streams to kind of try and explain how things work and to do, but it's also hard to explain, to be honest. Also because I'm also figuring it out while I'm doing it. So let's see, can you add dark cloudy to the mod tools? Yeah, I will add that at some point. I can't remember actually if it's already added, but I will do that. But I haven't spent that much time on, I also have a lot of ideas how to improve the map, the mod tools, so that it have some more validations and check stuff when you build the mod. So if, for instance, if you have a, let's say you have an entity that is not pointing to a prefab, so it will fail at runtime and stuff like that. Let's have some validation for these things, so you can't even build the maps, build the mods with these obviously wrong things, missing stuff. I can of course do it with everything, but stuff like that is something I look into later. I need it to work first. I would love to see a very detailed video about creating custom player characters and adding them as a mod to the game. Yeah, of course, Mr. J. I have already added one video, but it's private and only for the closed beta modders. But now that we have opened up, maybe, or have I published that? No, I haven't. Yeah, but I will. The thing is that one is only how it works right now and actually some time ago, because going forward it might be a little more complicated. Adding characters is actually pretty easy right now if you have a humanoid rigged character, but in the future I would also like to add ragdoll things, and I tried briefly to look into that dynamically, how to do that, but I haven't found a good solution for that. So it might be something that you have to do on your custom characters too, but that's another thing. Now it's shells and mortars, but there will be of course also more videos once the mod tools are more aligned and fixed and improved. As we get further on in the year, I will also do more videos about these things exactly to help you out. But again, right now it's all about making work, and I'm only one guy, so I can only do one thing at a time. And if the shell is lit on the ground, launch effect and sound doesn't play, it would play a tiny spark effect and a little pop sound instead of the shell is lit on the ground. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But we could have yeah, so we might also want to have a specific sound for when it's poof on the ground, and then another one for the tube, because it will obviously sound different. But that part is not a problem. Playing the sound at different times and stuff like that's not a problem. So okay, so let me just copy this effect here, and then delete this one. So let's call this, just to take the name I put in here, just for the fun of it. Let's say now it's just for testing a shell, launch and explode effect. It will most likely make sense in a moment. I hope. So this is the, you can see here, maybe we can. So he just shoots up and then does like that. And that last explosion, that is this one. So we need this to be called shell. What do we call that? So let's see, we do like this. Again, the naming is not, it's just me naming. So this needs to be a prefab. So that's the explosion effect. And this is the launch and explode effect. If that makes sense. So let's see if we can do that. And why is this not? And this one, that's fine. And this one. What are we? Why is it complaining here? Ignore rebinding component. It's because this one have the. Yeah, okay, so this one. Yeah, the problem here is that normally, okay, I forgot to zoom in here. Oh, damn it. So I showed it in a little window. Damn it. The problem is that this effect is normally under a... Let's just see Amnesty send something here. Big shell on the ground. And then it explodes, right? Yeah, exactly. So it needs to do kind of a little pop where it's only moving, almost not moving. And then that, yeah. The reason I'm having an explosion prefab and a launch and explode prefab is because it's just to help yourself so that the actual explosion effect is the same, because as you just saw in this video, that would be the same. Of course, just on the ground and not in the air. But yeah. Hello, Lords and Machika 10. Hello. Yeah, so this is a problem. Okay. For now, let's try and remove this. But this will be a problem. And we need to have. Yeah, okay, I could just have this one. This is sub emitters, so we have the launch, we have the launch trail, we have the flash, and then we have the explosion effect. Question is if we could move this to this one, but okay, let's forget about that for now. I'm just rambling here. Okay, so are these networked? None of these are networked. Oh, it's just... Yeah, please suggest another way, Amnesty. Because it's a... The thing is, if this was not multiplayer enabled, it would be easy. Easier at least. But I'm trying to save network bandwidth, make it simple to do for you guys, make it simple for me to build, make it obvious how things are put together, and then make it feel fun and great for players all at the same time. It's kind of hard. Yeah, Cloudwork Studios. It eventually also will. That is the plan. You should be able to, you know, do it on the ground, and then it makes this little puff, and then it explodes. And if it's in a tube, it goes up and then explodes. The thing is, doing that in a simple way, without, you know, also a performant way. Now let's see. If the shell is loaded in the tube, just have a single particle system with the launch effect, trails, and explosion all together, just like a single shot tube. Yeah, that's exactly what I have here. This is this effect. That's the launch and explode effect. And that prefab, inside it have another prefab, which is the explode effect, which is the one that will trigger when it's on the ground. Well, that's the idea, right? We could also have 3, so we could have a launch from mortar and explode effect, and launch on ground explode effect, and then the actual explode effect. We could also do it like that. Yeah, but isn't it in a tube? Have it play a separate single effect for the explosion and a tiny pop. Yeah, that is also my idea, Amnesty. But I'm also trying to make it in a way so you don't have, because the actual explode effect would be the same, right? Also in real life. It wouldn't be a different explosion. The final explosion, big one, would be the same no matter if it was on the ground or it was in a mortar. So, and I wanna make that easy to do in Unity. So therefore I wanna use the same prefab for that explosion, if that makes sense. So you only have to modify that one when you want the actual explosion to look different, and then you have the other ones for for the launch and the explosion thing. And I also want to play with this death explosion force, actually have it down here, because we just want to play it once this one. So I think we can do something smart there too. We could call this launch explode effect, and then we have this just explosion force, and then we can move this down here, and then we can how do we add that? Why is that not there, like that? And then here we have the sub emitters, and then we don't have the, we don't want to have the flash to this one. Oh, where is it? This one. Launch. Why is it not? Okay. This is here. Yes. Okay. So the spawn, the spawn particle explosion is this one, and then we don't want to have anything in here. And then we want on this one. Okay. Now I'm actually, it's something completely different I'm looking into now. But explosion visitors, that's not it. It's the particle something. It's a totally different particle, this one. So here we want to do spawn boom. Particle is missing, and we fixed that. So it's just like when this one is going off, this effect here should trigger too. Yeah, it's just moving things around. Particle system explosion is missing on. Huh? Ah, okay. This one. I can't remember actually how this works. Particles spawned. Okay. I might have to rethink this. Depending on, yeah, this one spawns a lot. Okay. Let's wait with this, because this is not at all relevant for what we're doing here. I'm just going out of but this one is fine. It goes here. It blah 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 blah. No, this one is fine. Here we have this one here, and it only spawns one, and that's why this is working. Okay, cool. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, what are you saying, MSC? Sorry. So each shell prefab would have two different effects. Which one gets triggered is determined by its status of being in the tube or not. Yeah, the thing is, I don't think the effect. I know it makes sense in a realistic way that it's part of the actual shell prefab, but really, technically, it might make sense to have it part, as I said before, as part of the entity definition, because once you put the shell into the tube can delete the shell and then just keep a reference to this definition ID or this definition really. So when it needs to launch something up here, it can just go to the entity definition, find the launch and explode prefab effect thingy, and then instantiate that here and shoot it up, and then we are good to go. That could maybe be one way to do it. Yeah. Yeah, the explosion would be the same. The launch in the trail, if it has one, would be different. Yeah. And something Panini did was, if the shell wasn't in the right size, the tube, it would reduce the launch force, making explode lower to the. Okay, yeah. So it could, you can put a smaller one in a bigger mortar, but you cannot put a bigger shell in a smaller mortar, obviously. But stuff like that is easy to do, you know, because it's just a matter of validating various properties on the stuff you try to put in a mortar and stuff like that, and then just not take it into the mortar if it's too big based on the data. So that's not a problem. Once we have this working, all that stuff is easy. Also to obviously, if we do it this way, where the launch effect is an effect in itself that you provide as a modder, I obviously cannot change that based on the size of the tube, because I don't know how you made the effect. Because of course I can go in via code and change the properties in the particle systems here, but you know, should I take the first one on this one or this one, or which particle system should I go in and change the start speed, and what should I change it to? It could of course be just a percentage of the current one, but you know, yeah, I could do something that tried to do that, but I'm not sure I can do it. Anyway, being super not, and something that one. For example, if I put a 3-inch shell in a 4-inch tube, it won't have the same launch pressure and would explode near the ground. I can see that for this little. It's very annoying. Something like that too. Yeah, but it's after stuff once I get this working. Because in Panini's case, it's a little easier because it was not multiplayer stuff. So he could just basically, once you put something in the tube, he could just take that object, disable colliders and stuff like that, and then put it as a child and put it into the tube, and then just leave it there until it needs to fire away, and then he could do something with this. But we can't do that with multiplayer. So I have to figure out another way of doing it. And that's what I'm trying here. But let's try something. So let's say we have this launch effect and we have the explode effect. That's what we have now. So just to try things out. Let's see. So effect, let's say we have explode effects. So let's say we have. Now, explode effect might be a good name. And then we have no, it doesn't need to go in here. It needs to go into the definition. But that means that we need to have firework. We need actually to have a different. See, this is a firework entity definition, but a shell needs to have more stuff. Let me just see something here. Let's try and have a look. Come on, come on. resources, definitions, and then we have like tubes or something. No, shell. Shells. So here. So first of all, we could remove this. So we have this question mark hopefully instead. But we need more stuff here, I think. Of course, I could also put it on this script because we actually have that one. But then we need to instantiate. I'm not sure I can get to that. Okay. Maybe I'm not sure if we are pushing the limit to what can be done here, but let's try this. Let's say it have an that's an explosion. Maybe that's not what we want. We want basically a particle. We want a particle system. No, we want here we have a particle system here. Can we instantiate that? Okay. Test effect and explosions. Okay, so let's have a serializable field or serialized field, and let's have a private particle system, launch and explode particle system prefab. Let's try this. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, so this one, and then we have a explode on, just to give it some name, the explode on ground particle system. Launch and explode in air. Stupid name, but anyway. So we have these two. And let's just for now, let's just... Can we make a property generate? No. Can we generate? Nope. Okay. So we have these two here on the shell. Okay, for now let's just try and make them public. Just so we have something here. So we have these two. We have these two things on a shell. So when we are over here, but that becomes what I'm thinking about now is so if these are on the actual shell behavior, so on the shell itself, then once it's put into the mortar over here, we have a no, they're not there. Here we get the shell behavior, and here we actually have that behavior. But the thing is that what we need to do here is to despawn and delete this instance, and then once it fires, or before, when you put it in, we could spawn it and just hide it until we need it, and then we could trigger this launch and explode particle system at the position of the, you know, at this at this position here, the launch position. So instead of taking, so now when it's fired, when the mortar fuse is completed, meaning that you ignited it and it goes off, yeah, no problem, MST. I'm just rambling and trying to use my head to figure out a solution. Because I want to come up with a solution where everybody after thinks, yeah, of course, that's easy. It needs to be like that. But that's typically also the hardest one. The entity definition is here, and that one we can have a reference to. Because once we destroy this, we can't get to that. But we of course can, okay, that's a little weird. But basically we could get to the entity definition prefab, and then we can save that. Okay, let's try this. So we have these two here. So let's go out here, and then we don't want to do anything with them now other than having a reference to them, and then, yeah, let's see. So completely confusing. So if we go into a shell, and then we have these new effects over here. So let's go to the prefab, fireworks, shells, effects. So let's put these in here. So we have these here, and then just for now, let's just manually disable them, maybe. And then we can do explosion, this is this one, and launch one, this one, boom, like that. Let's just try this one. So these are disabled, that's all fine. Okay. So let's say when we get this shell in here, we see it, and then we don't need this, the loaded shell, let's call it prefab. No, yes, yeah, because when we then enter here and we don't, then we say, no, we don't want to do this. We don't have the entity and the prefab here. and then get component shell behavior. This is, the Unity gods are not happy, I think. So this is loaded in Mortar. We don't need that anymore, really. So let's try and remove that. Let's remove that. And we don't need, we actually need this despawn, and we need it also to be deleted. So we despawn it, and no. We just need to do this, needs to be on this one and this one. So this is the prefab, and then we despawn it and we deactivate, and I guess we destroy it because we don't need it anymore. So we do like this. So when you put a shell into the tube, it now we will get a lot of commented out code here that we are not really a fan of. That it can't even figure out. Okay, let's just remove it. Okay. So when you put a shell into a tube now, we find the shell behavior on that one that is putting in, then we check for stuff, then we save a reference to the prefab version, and then find the behavior on that one. So we have the prefab shell behavior. Loaded shell behavior from prefab, something like that. Like that. And then we take the actual shell that we just put in, then we despawn that from clients and force disable on ourselves, and then we delete it. Boom, then it's gone. And the mortar now have the information about what to do. So, okay. So once it's loaded, we can then ignite it. Then we need to do stuff. And now we could do something like this. We could have a particle system saying launch and explode effect. It's really crappy code right now. Just need to make it work, because really we don't need a reference to this. We could just have a reference to that particle. Can we? I don't know if we can do this. Can we do something like this? Can we say effect like instantiate this prefab thing, and then the launch and explode system? Is that possible? System. So this one would, okay. And we need to, of course, be a child of this transform. And we could basically, do this. We could actually do this. So we put it at the position. Okay, I'm freestarting now. So when we load the shell into the mortar, we keep a reference to the prefab on the definition of this one. Then we find these launch and explode effect. I will figure out some better naming because it's terrible right now. And then we store a reference to that. And then we also we set this to, set it to false because we don't want it to show up. So we disable it. And then we actually should have that launch effect at the right position of the mortar. And it's just disabled for now. And then once it's once the fuse is actually going off, we can just say, okay, let's just say and here we have some client and some host. We need to do some stuff here, but right now which we're just on the host, so let's just go with this. Then we set it to true, and then we basically say play. Oh. Yeah, we don't know what else, so we can just play it basically. Then we don't need all this. And then afterwards, yeah, then of course we have to at some point remove this again and blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Maybe this is good enough. Can this work? Yeah, I see I lose viewers because it's pretty complicated and not very interesting maybe to look at. But now it will be, because now we're gonna test it. I don't know why I always pick these things to stream that are pretty complicated to do, and therefore a lot of just thinking time where not a lot at least happens. Let's see here. So we have this here, and this has this one, this blah blah blah. Yeah, it's fine. Let's test it out. Let's see how it works, or if it works at all. It's really long shot, and I'm just gunslinging this thing here. So let's see. So we spawn a mortar and we spawn a. So this should right now just move and boom, explode. Fine, boom. Let's put the shell in this one and let's see what happens. Let's try and take a look here before we move on. Let's try and find the. Okay, so the shell is still here somewhere. Oh, that's most likely the other one we just fired off. There's another bug there. It doesn't go away. No problem. So here, let's see. Let's take a look at the mortar behavior. So it actually have a reference to a prefab that is actually on the prefab here. Okay, so we can see what here, and it also spawned it right here. So it should have, if we go to this one, yes, you can see the effect is right there. Don't know if that anything makes sense, but let's see. Okay, there's something that is not good here. We got some weird, and I kind of knew that. What is this? Yeah, it is. We are not doing good stuff here. So, yeah, but we don't actually need to do that. Down. Let's see. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need to spawn it on clients really, because we will do that with instead we will somehow do it with a network variable and some timing stuff. and then trigger that so that it sends off the effect on the clients. That could work too. Let's just try again, because even though this is very ugly at the moment, it might contain a solution here. Yeah, sorry for the last few. Only 4 viewers back, or 2 viewers on the vertical and 4 on the normal. So I'm losing people. I know. But it's also, I totally understand it, because this is really, really complicated to understand. And it's hard for me to make very interesting, because I don't know the solution myself. So I'm also just basically thinking out loud, and that's not typically super interesting. Love the game, can't wait to play with friends. Cool. Jose, or Jose, or how you say it. You can actually play with friends already. I don't know if you've seen it, but there is a public beta, so you can play the version right now. Of course, it's in a beta, so stuff is not working. That's what I'm working on here, adding shell support. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, that works. There's a lot of things that, doesn't work, but I can fix that. This was actually the hard part. If I can make this work, it makes sense, and it's actually pretty simple, because I don't know if you're back, Amnesty, but now I have the effect on the shells. So, and I take them from the prefab there, so that's pretty brilliant. Right now it won't work multiplayer, but I can see how I can make it work multiplayer. Let's just try. Oh. What? Didn't I put? Oh, maybe. Okay. Yeah, okay. There might be issue with reloading, but anyway, let's try one of the issues from yesterday, the other day. Let's put this one in, and then let's move it, and also let's tilt it just to see if that works. Yep, it shoots the right direction. Boom. Okay. So what if we do like this, and then we put in, and we, of course, we need to play various sounds and effects and stuff like that. Once they go into the tube, we can vary that one, like that, and then I can fuse it up. Can I fuse it up? No, I can't fuse it up. Why can't I do that? Okay, but that's another problem. That's okay, just because I need to. I didn't. Yeah, okay, I haven't done that. Yeah, no problem. That's fixable. Let's see here. So does that work? Yep. Okay. Yeah, okay. Mr. J, I haven't lost you, that's good. Oh, I did not. Good stuff. Yeah, Jose, the version I'm playing, of course, I'm actually, I'm playing here the version that I'm working on, so that's the next version. But already, if you go into just the front page of the game in Steam, if you scroll down a bit, there's a link to to the multiplayer, or there's a link to a post where you can see how to join the multiplayer, and then you can switch in the betas in Steam, and then you get something that looks like this, and here you have the multiplayer thing, and you can host your own, and you can join other people. I can't, because I'm on a newer version, so I can't join these guys, but you can. Okay, so yeah, check it out. What happened there? What happened? Okay. Okay. YouTube controller. Okay, there it goes again. Okay, so this actually works. Oh yeah, did you just join Amnesty? I am making progress. Have you just gotten back? Because I actually got it working. Okay, well, there's a lot of issues, but I got something working. So if we look at a shell now, I just made up a quick. I will clean this up because right now it's completely confusing because there's multiple effects. But basically what I did is that on my shell here, I have two effects. I have an exploding effect and I have a launch and explode effect. And these are on the shell behavior done as reference over here. So these are pointing to these in here. So it is as simple as possible for the modder right now. Again, I don't know if this hold up all the way, but this is how it is now at least. So yeah, this one needs to go away and be the explosion effect, blah, 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 blah. But that's some cleanup and simplifying of things. And then let's start it up. Then what I do is that when you put the shell into the mortar, I find the shell component, and then I save a reference. On this shell behavior, I find the entity definition and the prefab, which is the shell prefab we just looked at, and then I find that shell component. Because with that in hand, I can instantiate a launch and explode effect, which is the effect we want when in a mortar. Then I can put that as a child, only the effect, not the shell itself, but only the effect, because the effect itself is not network enabled, because it doesn't have to, because the effect is just playing on clients and host at the same time. So then we put that as a child on the mortar and set the position of it to be at the top where this launch position is set on the mortar, and then we just hide it, because now it's just a client side only thing. Then I need some network variable to actually make it fire off in clients. I don't think that would work right now. But anyway, and then I despawn the shell itself and actually destroy it. And then I don't think actually I need to deactivate it. I could just destroy it basically. But anyway, and then I destroy the shell itself, because now the mortar have the information it needs to be able to play the effect once it's going off. So when the mortar is ignited, it basically just enables this launch and explode effect and plays that effect. It will be a little more complicated than this, because just playing like this is not the way you need. I need to do something to sync the effect so that, people joining late get the effect at the right time and with the same seed and blah 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 blah. But I have another solution to fix that, so I know how to fix that one. The cool thing is that this is actually working. You cannot reload the tube right now, but that's also doable. That's not a problem either. So are you still here, MC? Let's see here. So I go in here, I do a shell, boom, a mortar, sorry. Have a shell here. That's, as before. This is now using another effect. So this is a little bit misleading, because this is a red effect like this, and it will have a blue effect in a moment. And that's one of the things that we cannot have. So that's why we need to, but that's not a problem. It's just because I'm testing right now. But anyway, if I then put it into a tube, it will play the launch and explode effect, which I just took from the Mr. Beats. So it goes up there, boom. We can reload it right now, as I said, but we can put this in an angle, add an angle, and then we can maybe do it like this. Whoops, no, we couldn't. But we can take it up here and we can put it into this one. Take it like that. Now we can ignite this one. And it should shoot this way. Oh. So, and we don't have any errors or anything. Yeah, we have something here, but again, that's not the problem. So basically the idea works, but now I'm not taking the prefab from the, and that's where I'm a little concerned if I can actually do what I'm doing here. But yeah, else it would just be a little more complicated. It's just like, to make it as simple as possible for Mortars, it's easier to just make a shell that have two effects and then let me worry about taking the right effect based on what it is. Whereas the other approach, you would have to make a shell and then you would have to have a prefab of the effect and then put it into the entity definition. I don't know if that makes sense. And that's a little further away when you're doing a shell, that you have to put the effect into the entity definition and not on the shell itself. But anyway, so I don't know if you saw that, Amnesty, but why is it like I have a different field of view? Okay. Oh yeah, if you didn't see it, we'll say Francisco. In the new version, there's also like, you know, you have avatars here and you can change them. Like this guy, you can see yourself from the front, you can run. Yeah, so it actually works. So now it's just a matter of making it, doing something with effect and simplify it, and yeah, making the explosion forces work, and yeah, I think it could work. Take a little B-roll here while we talk a little. We can also take some newer, cozy multiplayer B-roll instead. But this is Amnesty's firework and Amnesty's map. Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's doable. I think this could be doable. This is a better approach and simpler. It's less data to transfer. It's just better in many ways, really. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I think I will end the stream now, because actually this is a good point, because I got it working now. Now it's just a matter, or just a matter of making it simpler, making it reloadable, making it, yeah, there's tons of things to do. But I just wanted to test out this idea of this way, an idea of doing it. And it turns out it works so far. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Anyway, let's close off the stream. And thank you for joining and sitting through this crazy complicated stuff. But there was progress in the end. And now I have a better idea of how I can actually continue in this. And that's interesting. And that's really nice. Really, really nice. Anyway, ending stream. Where's that? That's this one. Oh, yes. So, see you in the next stream. And happy gaming. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.